All right. My internet's not working so good here, but it's sort of working. I was gonna show you some stuff that I got. Um, this right here, it's a lake boat day and night signal kit. It contains one red-handled flare, one orange smoke flare, and one whistle with lanyard. Um, it's kind of important if you're going to be off in the woods, especially by yourself, that you have a way to signal somebody if something, heaven forbid, ever happens. Here I've seen signs of local wildlife, and not all of it from plant eaters. So there's that to consider. Here's the whistle. Now I got two of these. Um, one of the reasons is if I do get a camp and I get somebody to work on it with me, then I'd like for them to have it set as well. If anything happens to them, I'd like them to be able to get somewhere safe. I actually keep mine in one of my pockets because I got cargo pants on. I also got, of course, a hat, and it's got oak on it. So this is a good hat for the local area. Um, and then I got that for like $3 at Walmart right after hunting season. I also got this stuff right here. It's a net, basically. Well, it kind of looks like the screen on your door. See, it's pretty see-through, but you can double it up and you can use it for temporary camouflage. The reason I say that is because the best camouflage, well, the close to the best camouflage would be natural materials. The best camouflage is living natural materials. If you take dead tree branches or you cut off live tree branches and you use that for hiding your hovel, well, first of all, the way that you stack it up, it's probably not going to look very realistic. All right, we got our first troll of the day. Somebody calling themselves Van Life typed, "Can you see me? How are you, brother?" No, I can't see you, Van Life. I can only see what you typed. All right, so basically, when I start a kitchen camp, I got a lot of important essentials. This right here is triple antibiotic ointment. Of course, I got black and green clothes. This is better camouflage, especially over what I'm wearing. It's better camouflage than absolutely nothing. But if I'm going to be using this, it's only for a temporary encampment until I dig in and make something that is actually hidden. That's where you got to pick the right terrain so that first of all, you got to be at a flood range. Second of all, you don't want to be in a landslide area. Third of all, you don't want an area where there's a bunch of loose dirt and big boulders overhead because that's a landslide area. Van Life typed, "Are you living in your car now?" Yes, I am. Um, it's better than nothing. Now, if I'm able to find a place off in the woods, mind you, before Natalie was killed, I was saving up my money for property, and all of that money went to the government for a bunch of bullshit. People wanted to assume that I had killed Natalie, and they committed a lot of felonies. And of course, many of those people were police officers. And sadly, those are the very same police officers that I've been told I have to go to for help. In Dula County, there's only one law enforcement, and that's Dula County Sheriff Scott DaCosta. All right, so this right here, this bag is originally for a gas mask. I do have gas masks, just not with me. Couldn't exactly take them. Oh, yeah, this is, of course, more triple M. I make sure I have emergency supplies. I got colored pencils in here for who knows what. You never know. It was one of those things that I got while I was in jail, and so I kept it. It's got a compass in here, and a flashlight, and a fire starter. This is magnesium, I believe. Basically, you scrape it off, and then you spark it. I got glow sticks, of course, multiple glow sticks. And the reason I got these is, again, in case of, well, these right here are for extreme emergencies. I mean, I don't want to risk a fire if I don't have to. And these right here also last longer than these. These right here will last, I believe it says, up to 8 hours. But these right here, one of them, the smoke one, that's this one here that's orange, it only lasts for 1 minute. This one right here on the other side, the red one, it only lasts for 3 minutes. So they don't last very long. I also got water purification tablets in here. I got rubber bands and clothespins, and you never know when those will come in handy. If you've got a copy of the Boy Scout Handbook, I believe there's depending on which one you have, there's actually a few really good uses of those in there. I also have a mouse in here. I bought it because I lost my mouse, and then I found my mouse again, so I never had to open this one up. Extra lighters, and then of course I got this thing for $1. It's supposed to, it says keeps you safe and clean, lowers germ exposure. It's supposed to be for like opening doors and touching shit without getting all infected, but I got it because I thought it was a good practical joke. It says keeps you safe and clean. But for $1 a piece, and it looks like a pretty decent hook. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can be used for, especially when you know you're not work. I also got a set of keys that have some nylon jump cord attached to it, and that's for, again, extreme situations, and that could go with these right here, because I have more than one. I got 5 of them. And if push comes to shove and I need some quick, easy takedown stakes, those will work perfect. I don't have all of my fishing stuff in here, not yet anyway. Van Life typed. It's good to get that solitude. Can you get housing? When I get money, I'll help you. Money does help, and that is absolutely true. But it doesn't do a whole hell of a lot without people speaking out. You know how people shared the Gabby Petito story? You know how people were sharing the Natalie Bollinger story? You know how they were sharing the Elijah McClain story and the Zade Atkinson story and the George Floyd story? I need them to share my story. I had the same exact predators by name as several of those people that I just named. Not all of them, obviously, but damn, we live in a fucked up world. Van Life typed, money can't buy happiness, but being broke can't either. You're damn right about that. When you try to turn in bad cops, one of the things that they can do is press false charges against you, and then your life gets real fucking expensive. When you live on a fixed income of less than $700 a month, which is what I was getting when Natalie died, you don't have the money to go jumping through all those hoops. Natalie's family were Natalie Bollinger's predators. Her own family. Her own mother, her own stepmothers, one of them anyway. For certainly her own father, Ted Bollinger. You know, those people are horrible to each other, but when Natalie was killed, they worked together to make sure that my life was eternally hell. They did a goddamn good fucking job at it. They've also got a lot of experience. Van Life type money can't buy happiness, but oh, I already read that part. Now, something I was going to do is go back through and look at another video that I had posted. The reason for that is because there's a topic in it I wanted to remember, and after I saw the video, it made me remember it. So I'm going to try to pull it up again and hope it helps me to remember. Reality versus the story the cops told. The reason I needed people to speak up is because their reasons for not showing up to court, not going in with me to make a police report, not helping me, and so on and so forth, are not the same things that the police wrote down on their official paperwork after not investigating. The police did nothing to investigate any of the crimes against me. And why would they? I was trying to turn them in for not doing their jobs previously by not investigating the crimes against me. Now, there's a feller I know who's in a pretty fucked up situation himself, and he wants to get the hell out of it all. He's got some good ideas. Let's see. Van Life typed, "What are you gonna do? How are you still using Wi-Fi? I love you, buddy. You are 77. I am not 77. I'm using Wi-Fi by utilizing the Wi-Fi at a local Starbucks. What am I gonna do? Well, I got this stuff so that I can make a temporary encampment with it. Just basically pick an area that's secluded and away from people. And I'll set this stuff up to shield my stuff from anybody who might be wanting to peer in and peek in and look at it. And when I get a good entrance / exit built, where it's a decent sized rock or maybe a tree stump, something that I can easily move and put back into place, that looks like it belongs there, which is not difficult here. Everything is covered in fucking moss or lichens. I don't mean the vampire / werewolf movie lichens that y'all are totally into. I mean lichen as in it's one type of plant and another type of plant that are living together as a symbiosis. It's actually pretty cool. Lichen, I believe. van life type. Good luck, man. Can you get a hotel? No, I cannot. I can't afford it. I have enough money that I could possibly, if I can find a cheap motel here, which is apparently around $50 a night, I might be able to afford a room for about 5 nights. And I got to live on that money. I need to use it for gas. I need to use it for insurance. I got to use it for, well, a lot of other stuff. I gotta try to pay Deanna back. She's the one who sent me $85 earlier in the month, and I told her I'd pay her back as soon as I got paid. And then she's kind of ghosted me. I guess she doesn't want to get paid back immediately. I really would like to pay her back immediately because I told her that I would. But that's again something that all of this traveling gets expensive, but housing is expensive too. I can't get into housing. I broke some windows at the housing in Chapel, Nebraska. It was a last ditch effort to try to force the cops to do their jobs. And when you guys see all the other efforts that I made to try to get them to do their jobs, to try to get them to investigate the crimes that were committed against me, you will understand why I did the things that I did. It sucks being backed into a corner, poked with a stick, and then when you scream for help, you get treated like you're a fucking monster because you're screaming for help when you're backed into a corner and poked with a stick. It sucks. People say, oh, Sean, this is something you got to do on your own. This isn't something that anyone can do on their own. Nobody could do this on their own, not even Bill Gates. Bill Gates got plenty of money. He'd hire himself a whole team of fucking lawyers. That's an advantage I don't have. And even in that case, Bill Gates is utilizing his money to hire other people to do it for him. The rest of us, all we got is family, and that's if we got family that gives a shit. Natalie Bollinger's family worked together to try to paint me as a monster, to try to fuck with my head, to try to, in some cases, catfish me, in some cases, gaslight me. And the police helped them. They didn't bother to find out if the things that were being said about me were true or not. They didn't bother to find out whether they were being used out of context or not. For the same reason, if you look at the situation with Gabby Petito versus Henny Scott, people didn't really give two shits about Henny Scott. How many of you have even heard of Henny Scott? But how many of y'all know who Gabby Petito is? That's right. When it's a pretty white girl, you guys care a lot more. And there are things that make you care even less. The older they are, the less you care. The less attractive they are, the less you care. The cuter they are, the more you care. The more masculine they are, the less you care. The more rich or famous they are, the more you care. That goes for the police too. And then you've got your bias. You know that if you do something wrong to somebody who's rich, that rich person can buy you into prison, no fucking problem. Just on reputation alone. Kind of like if a man is being stalked by a woman and her friends, and they're making his life a living hell, what are those men told? You need to deal with it yourself. Or they're told it's not illegal. Meanwhile, a man can literally go to prison over a woman's opinion. Well, I have this opinion that because he looked at me a certain way one time, that he might possibly, potentially in the future do something terrible to me. No, 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 no. There are men who actually do terrible things. Why are you not going after them? Why are you going back to the guy who beat you 3 times already? Why are you doing that? Why are you, when you break up with him, hating on all men, especially him? But then when you go back to him, you don't stop the man hating. You just stop the man hating against him. And it's horrible. It is damaging to those of us who are not physically abusive. And I am for certainly verbally abusive. I will be the first one to admit that. I'm verbally abusive back. I give people a tiny, tiny taste of what I go through. And what do? They for certainly don't follow their advice. What's their advice to me? Just ignore it. Just move along. I'm saying, hey, I need your help so I can turn this into the cops. They get a tiny taste of something that's not even illegal. And they want to run directly for the cops or try to have it removed from YouTube. I'm like, hey, that's the thing about minding my P's and Q's and going through so much of this. You learn what's legal and you learn what's not. With those people telling me, especially after the situation with Natalie Bollinger, before they found her killer, with the way people were telling me they were being treated, there needs, to this day, to be a federal investigation into it. It was horrible. There is no reason that I should have to go back to my predators and ask them for help. Another thing is, a lot of people say, why don't you just go off in the woods? Well, I'm trying. I got a vehicle, though. I need to find a place for it. And I need a safe place for the electronics because that's where a lot of my evidence is. I do need to sue these people. But more than that, I need these people to be put away so they can't do it to others. So they can't do it to me again. Dual County Sheriff's Department on at least 6 separate occasions had me either locked up in a mental institution or locked up in jail or prison for trying to turn them in. This is not okay, it's not acceptable, and it's not legal. But who really cares, right? If someone is disabled, especially if you can call them mentally ill, their word don't mean jack shit anymore, and now it's your word versus them, and you're automatically going to win. And everyone knows this. Everyone knows this. The police know this. The public knows this. School kids fucking know this. Don't play fucking stupid. Don't play like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about when all of you have either experienced it yourselves or put others through it. Don't pretend to me that human nature is not human nature. Even a rabbit will bite you if you back it into a fucking corner. We're giving weapons to Ukraine so they can defend themselves against the Russians, but we're not arming the homeless or the disabled so they can defend themselves against the American government or the American people. Homelessness in America is a humanitarian crisis. It is an attempt at genocide. Your punishments against homeless people for things that are not illegal in your house. They're only illegal, like going to the bathroom is only illegal if you're homeless. Well, it's still illegal if you're in a house for you to go to the bathroom outdoors. But then again, you don't have to, do you? You can use your fucking toilet. You can sleep in your bed at night. You're not sleeping behind a garbage can that drunk people piss behind because you're trying to hide from the cops because they'll give you a fucking camping ticket for trying to fucking sleep. Holy Christ. Now, my friend Rebecca, I came up here to help her with some legal stuff. And I got a lot of my own legal stuff to go through. And I got some legal stuff of hers that I still got to go through. And it's a lot. She's been through a very fucked up situation, too. Now, I'm hoping my friend from Nebraska who's going through hell, I'm hoping that he'll want to come up here and work on some old boats with me. That's what I wanted to do up there in Washington State. People are always wanting to give away free boats as long as you got a trailer. Well, I'm pretty good at fixing shit, and so is this guy. If I get a decent kitchen camp set up in the mountains, I'll only have to use this stuff right here for a day or two. After day 2, I should have a hole dug out that's big enough to stand up in. And, of course, it'd be a lot of work after that to expand it and to make sure everything's shored up. Make sure there's a lot of blackberries around, because obviously I'm going to have to do it on either state forest land or federal forest land, because all of my money that I could have used to buy property of my own got spent on the courts and on traveling to empty promises, traveling to other people's addictions and other people's control issues. And those people not being able to get past their addictions, many of them are angry with me because I recorded calls with them and posted them on my YouTube channel here. That's not something I wanted to do. And it's not something that I should have been put into a position that I felt I had to do. When you promise you're going to help somebody in a certain way, you should help them in that certain way, especially when they invest everything that they have into getting there so that they can receive that help that you promised them. If you've got an addiction to meth that is so bad that you're digging through your own feces trying to find a bag that you swallowed when you saw the police and freaked out, that's something that is gonna hinder your ability to help somebody. If you say you're gonna go in and talk to the police with someone, but you're too paranoid because you're always fucked up on meth, you're not helping them. They're wasting every day that they're there is wasted. Now, there's a lot of people that they don't talk to me anymore. I was going to say I don't talk to them, but the thing is, I'd love to talk to them. They're still people I love. They're still people I care about. A lot of people helped me out in a lot of ways. But in the end, none of it was actual help because none of them spoke up. None of them spoke up where it mattered. Where people came together to make my life hell and to make other people's lives hell for trying to help me. My friends couldn't work together to try to do something about it. Many of them went at each other's throats over the situation. You know how horrible that makes me feel? And there's a lot of people at the very beginning that they did speak up. In these Natalie Bollinger groups, they argued with a bunch of fucking wingnuts who don't know me, who don't know the situation or the first thing about it. They only know what they've been told. And what were they told? What did the media tell them? What did the cops tell them? Now, this guy in Nebraska, if he comes up here and helps me, or if he finds a place for him, I'll go help him. We'll see if we can get him a decent life set up. Same thing with Rebecca. We'll see about getting the kitchen camp set up. See, that's the thing about Rebecca. She's into helping people just like me. She's into feeding people. And she doesn't want people to freeze to death either. And she'd pick good camp partners so it wouldn't blow up the spot. By that, I don't mean like an explosive blowing it up literally. I mean, when you have a lot of traffic, especially if there's drunks or meth heads. Drunks and meth heads go in and out of camp all the fucking time to make sure that their habit is fed. Constantly in and out and in and out. And they wear the traveled spots down so that it brings people right to where you're at. They tend to be more liberal about throwing garbage down, so you're constantly picking up after them. And next thing you know, going to the spot that you go to sleep at night becomes a chore. Every night you're listening to alcoholics and meth heads arguing and screaming and shouting at each other over fucking obsessive bullshit that you just don't need. It's better to have your own spot. And you can go pick out the ones who are ready for actual help. You can pick and choose and invite who it is that you want to help. Now, with me having to go to police officers who didn't want to do their jobs, and with other people having similar experiences with those same officers, and with some of that, much of it actually being on the news so you can see it for yourselves. The very officers that I spoke out about by name are on the news for doing those things to other people. So those people who want to call me crazy and pretend that I'm schizophrenic or like I'm some sort of obsessive stalker, maybe they should look at the actual evidence instead of just the narrative employed by the assholes who hate me. Now, the evidence is blatant and outright on all of my paperwork. The words of the police. And of course, the evidence that shows that they're full of shit. But I wasn't allowed to show that evidence, was I? No, I wasn't. Repeatedly, when I tried to turn in officers, they would ship me out of jurisdiction under false pretenses, over and over again. When I'd try to turn in these officers, the other people at the courthouses are telling me 1,000,001 different reasons or excuses why they can't do their jobs. I need help. We all do. When I hear people's complaints, the thing that's going through my head most of the time is, why are you complaining after you look the other way to that shit and worse happening to me and mine? And now you want to complain about piddly ass shit? Or going through a tiny little bit of it? You want to assume that I'm able to do the things that you're able to do without taking a look at the situation, without taking a look at the differences? You just want to assume that we are both on the same playing field, like we're on a level plane. No, we are not. We're not. Being disabled sucks. Living on jack shit per month sucks. I don't have enough money to not live in my fucking car. Well, I do. I could live outside of my car, get rid of my car and not have to pay the insurance or the gas. But then how would I travel? Where would I go? I'd have to do it on foot with what I can carry on my back, and my back is fucked. So basically, it would be just the clothes on my back, and I would probably freeze to death. All right, maybe not. I'm smart enough not to. But when it's cold, and it fucking sucks, and you don't get no sleep. And if you do get some sleep, well, you're dead. That's as simple as it is. Going to sleep in cold weather will kill you. You got to keep moving. You got to keep breathing. You got to keep occupied. You got to stay conscious. A lot of this stuff that I got, it's for emergencies. Obviously, I don't have a bunch of guns and ammo for taking out huge bears if I ever get attacked by a bear. What I got is stuff to signal in case of emergencies. I mean, I suppose I got that whistle, so if a bear tries to touch me inappropriately, I can blow the whistle. But I mean, really, other than that, I got the flares here, and that's to protect myself from, breaking a leg and being stranded there for days or weeks or months because I'm not able to contact anybody. This will let people know there's an emergency, there's something going on. Now, this stuff right here is to protect me from human beings. To make it so that I can have a spot that is at least decently safe from predatory people who seek out to take advantage of others. And that is pretty much all people. All people trying to get the upper hand, trying to get a little extra footing, trying to step up the social ladder just a little bit. You choose to victimize those who are easiest to victimize instead of going after the people who done it to you. If somebody steals from you, go steal it back. If your Uncle Andrew stole your bike, go steal your fucking bike back from your Uncle Andrew. Don't come beat on me because you can get away with it. Like, oh yeah, I'm pissed off because somebody stole my bike. You know who stole your bike, go get it back. But instead you come down on people who are disabled or people who are homeless and you take it out on them or you steal their things. There's a lot of times where college kids would find a homeless person's backpack, or they would punk a small homeless person for their backpack and throw it in the fucking creek. Sometimes they'd throw them in the garbage cans. Same thing with the Boulder Police Department. That's got all of your life-saving gear in it. The homeless are people too. If you want to fight for equality, I want you to understand that there are homeless people who are women, homeless people who are men, homeless people who are Jewish, homeless people who are Muslim, homeless people who are Christian, homeless people who are atheist, homeless people who are Buddhist, homeless people who are pacifists, homeless people who are veterans. There's homeless people that are black, homeless people that are white, homeless people that are Native American, homeless people from India, homeless people from Africa, homeless people from Europe, homeless people from Asia, homeless people from Australia, homeless people from South America. There's homeless people from everywhere. Every color, every religion, every gender. There's homeless people who are straight, homeless people who are gay, homeless people who are cross-dressers or gender benders. There are homeless people who are autistic. There are homeless people who have Tourette syndrome. There are homeless people with college degrees. There are homeless people who have worked construction. There are homeless people who have cut trees. There are homeless people who have worked cement. There are homeless people who have been teachers. Homeless people who have been preachers. Homeless people who have been police officers. And the evidence shows that it's not just me. That my predators by name, including Waylon Lolotai, did the same things that I was treated like I was crazy for saying these things were done to me. And these same exact predators by name did those same exact things to other people. And that's what happens when law enforcement turns a blind eye to those predators, especially within their own departments. One false charge will make every police officer in America predatory towards you. Because as soon as they run your name and see that false charge, they no longer see any more excuse for being civil or decent or treating you like a human being. If there's a warrant out for your arrest for a crime that wasn't even committed, no officer cares. They're going to arrest you. They're going to separate you from your evidence, from your vehicle. If you're lucky, you get it back. I've been real lucky. I haven't gotten it all back, but I've been real lucky because I still have some of it. These are our rights, people.